In March of 2022, just as the economy was already taking a dive due to high inflation and fears over global recession, the main architect of Fantom ecosystem that many call the godfather of DeFi, Cronje, announced that he was leaving Fantom and crypto space in general. And following that announcement, the FTM token price dropped 17.5%, but that was just the beginning. Fueled by the overall market sentiment, the capital started fleeing Fantom ecosystem, and in just the span of 3 months, the TVL of Fantom ecosystem dropped almost 90%, going from $8 billion to $1 billion. And overall sentiment towards Fantom ecosystem completely changed, with many wondering what the future of Fantom ecosystem is gonna look like. In the meantime, the price kept dropping, going along with the market, but just going at a higher pace, and on November 21st, it reached its lowest point of just under 17 cents, that it hasn't been that low since June of 2021. And that saw Fantom losing its ranks from position number 32 in March, dropping all the way to position 79 on November 21st, falling behind even the collapsing Terra Luna that was already trading at a fraction of a cent. And the only thing I do regret now is not buying Fantom at 17 cents. The fundamentals of the Fantom project are great. I like that transaction cost is just a couple of cents. I like that the transaction confirmation is almost instant, and it's probably one of my favorite projects out there, but I honestly thought that the market is gonna take even deeper dive, providing more opportunity to buy it even cheaper. But I was wrong, and don't repeat my mistakes. DCA please. And even though I don't think we're in the bull market right now, and I think it's more of a bull trap, but I don't think that the price of Fantom is ever gonna drop to the point of 17 cents. Unfortunately, maybe it will drop like 50%, but I don't think we'll ever see it at 17 cents again, but hopefully I'm wrong. Fast forward to this point, the price of Fantom is sitting just around 60 cents, and it's one of the most gainers among all other layer 1 networks such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now let's talk what caused Fantom to do so well and what lays ahead for Fantom in 2023. Cronje announced his return and also big plans for Fantom for 2023 to create a sustainable environment for DApp developers and also distinguish Fantom from other layer 1 networks. So let's start with the first positive sign that happened on November 28 when Andre released firm's financials, stating that they have 450 million FTM tokens that at the time were worth about $90 million, and then they also have $100 million in stables, $100 million in other crypto, and $50 million in non-crypto assets. So setting aside those 450 million FTM tokens, they have about $250 million worth of assets, and considering that the yearly salary expense is about $7 million, that would give them roughly 30 years of work without ever touching the FTM reserves. And that saw the price of Fantom rebound 50% to 24 cents on November 30, just 8 days after it hit the bottom. Some of the more recent news that saw Fantom gain another 39% in weeks time was integration with Axelar Network that provides cross-chain communication for Fantom users. The integration provides access to the ecosystem that consists of 30 other blockchains that can integrate with one another. First, by using general message passing, Fantom Network will be able to have access to all the smart contracts on other blockchains that are connected to Axelar Network. And second, they'll be able to do one-click swaps of native assets on all other blockchains connected to the network. Other popular chains that are already part of Axelar Network are Arbitrum, Moonbeam, Polygon, Osmosis, and I think this is going to be big for Fantom. Another recent announcement is that Fantom is going to release a new version of FUSD, which is a stablecoin on Fantom Network. And there is no timeline for the release yet, but this will provide more predictable and budget-friendly system for users and builders. The new version will allow stakeholders to allocate fees either in FTM or FUSD to predict future costs based on usage, and it will allow programmers to build better products for users to have a more consistent system for planning and budgeting grants. And if you're currently holding any version 1 FUSD tokens, you're gonna need to migrate as well. And another exciting news are coming for Fantom for the remainder of 2023, so let's discuss these. Fantom is going to introduce gas monetization that will allow for revenue share for dApps based on gas used, and it will also incentivize the teams to build the best dApps out there that will get the most usage and that will get the highest revenue share. So this is going to be similar to the revenue share system of YouTube or Twitch, where creators get revenue share, and the dApp teams are going to be paid 15% of all the gas that is collected from the execution of their contract. The next thing that they're going to introduce is gas subsidies, and this is something that I really needed back in the day, because it was really hard the first time I was introduced to Fantom ecosystem. It was really hard to get started because you couldn't buy, I mean, not like that. You could buy Fantom on like Coinbase, Gemini, maybe, and even Crypto.com, but you weren't able to send it over the Fantom network. So in order for you to get started, you had to go to like a Discord chat, go to a Faucet channel and ask for some Fantom so you can get started with the Fantom ecosystem. And literally, I think like a week or two after that, the Crypto.com app introduced Fantom, so it was way easier. But I still think that adding subsidies is a good way for Fantom to introduce more people into the ecosystem, because it will allow you to get started even if you don't have any Fantom, so you'll be able to interact with dApps right on the spot. I'm not sure how this is gonna work, at what point the users already need to have some Fantom, but we'll see what's gonna happen in the future. And the next big thing that is going to allow Fantom to attract more users to Fantom ecosystem is something that I recently discovered by joining the Twitter space for ZK Sync, where they were talking about account abstraction. Account abstraction will let you ditch the seed phrase for the regular authentication method that we're all used to, such as email and password, or maybe Face ID or fingerprint. And just a week or so ago, I was talking to one of my friends, and he's not very much into crypto. He knows just a little bit like the seed phrases that people use, like the thing that he would call the USB stick when it's actually just the cold storage. But nonetheless, what he was saying, and I kind of agree with him on that, is that for ordinary people, it's going to be really troublesome to be able to carry around these USB stick, to be able to remember that 12-word seed phrase. So not that many people are going to be trying to use it, because it's a lot of work that you have to put, and people are already used to having their funds stored in a safe place, such as banks, where you just use your email and password to access your account. It's FDIC insured, and there's gonna be absolutely no problem with that. They can use their fingerprint, they can use their Face ID. So I kind of agreed with that statement, and I think that crypto projects are starting to slowly realize that in order for them to attract more masses into the crypto space, they have to do something that is very familiar to the ordinary people that are used to using their username and password or their fingerprint. And I kind of agree with that. And users are also going to be able to pay gas fees in tokens other than Fantom, and that is going to be dependent on account abstraction. So I think they're going to have to finish that first. But it's going to again add a little bit more convenience for the users. And the last two things that I wanted to talk about today is projects Carmen and Tosca, or in plain English, New Storage System and Fantom Virtual Machine. You see, in order to compete with traditional payment systems such as Visa, for example, Fantom Network needs to be scalable while also maintaining security and decentralization, and Fantom is planning to solve all three of these problems in 2023, or maybe even a little bit further ahead. And the bottlenecks really come from two things. One is the fact that the smart contracts are running on Ethereum Virtual Machine, which takes about 13% of processing time, and second, that the time taken to access and update the smart contracts to the database where the smart contract state is being stored takes about 84% of processing time. And from what my little brain could understand, the current database uses key value pair to access data on the database. So let's say that we have a coin contract on Fantom Network. So in order for us to get access to, let's say, total supply, we have to provide two values. The first value is going to be total supply, which is the variable total supply, and the second one is represented by the contract address, which is a 256-bit address. So it's taking a lot of time to process that. And so in order to make this faster, this key value pair is going to be represented by ordinal numbers, such as, let's say, 123 for contract address and 456 for total supply variable. And that would make it faster in terms of read and write speed to the database. And so in the experiment ran by Fantom, the new transaction speed is 8.1 times faster, and it requires 98% less storage, where GETH is the current DB system and EVM that Fantom is running on, and Fantom is a new DB system with Fantom Virtual Machine. And so this is called Project Carmen. Project Tosca is the creation of Fantom Virtual Machine that is going to replace EVM and will also increase the speed of smart contract execution. And FVM is going to use what's called super instructions, where it will merge multiple instructions into one and execute it as one instance instead of executing multiple instructions one by one. That will result in faster processing times and will also require less resources. And according to the experiment, where GETH is the current implementation represented by blue line, and new implementation with faster DB and FVM based on 40 million blocks, the new implementation was able to process on average 4,500 transactions a second, with some peaks of over 7,500 transactions per second, while the current implementation shows only around 1,000 transactions per second or less. This speed could theoretically allow for 400 million transactions daily, which is 4 times the number of transactions daily processed by Visa in the United States. And if that's not great news for Fantom for 2023, then I honestly don't know what is. Let me know what you think about Fantom down in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like because it's free, and subscribe to my channel if you really enjoyed the content and you want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you all guys in the next one.